Plymouth, Massachusetts has been America's hometown for close to 400 years. This community that has passed the test of time is now being threatened by an encroaching enemy: illegal substances. Marijuana, hallucinogens, methamphetamines, and opiates are all creating an epidemic of addiction in our hometown's neighborhoods. Plymouth Public Schools and Plymouth Police are struggling to combat the viciousness and ruthlessness of drug abuse within its schools, students, friends, and families. But is it enough? Has the problem escalated beyond a simple cure?
Addiction's a disease that isn't really classified as a disease. Like, people don't understand exactly what that means when you say addiction's a disease. I lost a lot of close friends of mine to addiction and overdose. My younger brother actually became addicted, and he actually lost his battle about like 6 months ago.
To most people, it would be shocking to discover the wide variety of drugs that teenagers are getting their hands on.
I mean, kids have come into my office and told me that they've done everything from, smoking weed or spice to doing heroin. Nothing that a kid could tell me at this point would surprise me.
Local community distributor, who goes by the name of Knockout, explains the reasoning behind selling controlled substances, specifically in the South Shore.
Are the pills you get in from your friends, are they pharmaceutical grade, or do you just have no idea where they're getting them from?
They're getting them from hospitals.
How do they get them from hospitals?
I knew a person working at a hospital, and they would steal doctors' notes and forge them.
Were they like a nurse or just, somebody cleaning the office?
Yeah, just a volunteer.
Oh, just a volunteer, wow. Not down in Plymouth, is it?
Jordan's Hospital.
Plymouth North High School, a place where over 1,000 students enter every day, is directly across the street from what has just been identified to be one of the many possible medical buildings in the area where people could be taking advantage of non-prescribed narcotics. Dr. James Finale of Jordan Hospital, now Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital of Plymouth, discussed these allegations.
Certainly it's possible the prescription pads get stolen, although now I will tell you prescription pads in hospitals are under lock and key for almost anything. You don't see them laying around on the desks anymore because of this kind of issue. Can't say it's perfect, but it's much more vigilant now than it's ever been.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there's an explosion of synthetic opiate use in Plymouth County. We are one of the highest usage areas in the country.
Though Massachusetts ranks first in the country in amount of heroin overdoses and fifth in the country in marijuana use, with almost 15% of residents admitting to smoking pot, it ranks last in the country in amount of drug-related arrests. There is also a vast difference in amount of drug-related arrests from Massachusetts to the second lowest state on the poll, Hawaii, which is 6 times higher than our state and only 1/3 the population. Equally disturbing is how drug users and dealers perceive Massachusetts law enforcement's response to this situation.
Do the cops notice that when people are under the influence of marijuana driving?
Some of them do. They can pick up on it. A lot of them don't care, though, like as much as if it was a drunk driver. Like, every person I've driven with high who's been caught has been let off the hook.
Massachusetts is recognized as the state that the police probably have the least amount of power out of every other police department in the country. Just one example. When you pull over a car in Massachusetts, as compared to other parts in the country, at the federal level, a Texas cop could pull you over and immediately tell you to get out of the car. When that happens, when that person is at a disadvantage, drugs can fall out, they don't have time to move around in the vehicle. In Massachusetts, I cannot order somebody out of a car unless I feel that my life is in danger. That's just one example.
I asked some of the participants to talk about how they became involved with heroin. And what was surprising even to me was that many of them said, I started on pills and I thought I could take a pill at a party, and within about 18 months to 2 years, virtually every one of them was using intravenous heroin.
Most popular in Plymouth and the South Shore is the use of prescription pills and heroin. Because prescription pills are so expensive, many addicts turn to a cheaper high, heroin. Heroin's so pure that it accounts for 1 death every 8 days on the South Shore alone. an individual who lives on the South Shore is 10 times more likely to die of an overdose than anywhere else in the country.
I don't know, it's sad to see them like that. What it is it usually starts with pills, and then heroin's more affordable, and they can get their fix for cheaper, so they go to that.
It's a battle, and I think most of the folks upstairs that we see in drug court very much want to stop, and their families want them to stop, and they come in the building here, a lot of them kids that are in their teens, and some of their friends bring them in and say, they say, I'm sick and I need help.
Unfortunately, many people know an addict or suffer themselves from substance abuse. While it may appear as the social norm to experiment with drugs, too often it becomes a destructive regularity which leads to the abuse of illegal substances. We as a community need to make the right decision and help one another. Reporting for PNN, I'm Pat Fay.